Hey, what's happening? It's Sheldon, host of The Quiet Storm on 97.1 WQMG, and I came to hang out with my man, DJ 58South. He's a bad boy. So check out this sit down. We're going to have a good time.
All right, man. Welcome to another episode of a sit down with 58South. Welcome to Season 2. I'm blessed today to have a special guest. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come and kick it with me, man. I have the one and only Sheldon Beatty. What's going on, sir?
Oh, man. Look, I'm chilling with my mans. That's my mans. 58South. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm here. That's the reason why I'm in the building.
I appreciate it, man. Before we get started, I hope everybody's doing well. You know what I mean? We had the past 2 years been a little different than normal.
It's been different.
How's everybody? How's the family?
My family's good. A lot of folks that got vaccinated so far in my family. We didn't have any deaths related to COVID. You know, so that was good. So we're happy about that.
Bless. Something interesting I didn't know about you upon doing some research.
Oh man, I didn't even know what I was getting into. Now, some research. What did I do? Because there's a lot of stuff out there. Depending on who you talk to.
Right on. I had no idea you were actually from Eastern North Carolina. You were born in Eastern North Carolina.
Yeah, Wilmington.
Yeah, I did not know you were from the Port City, man.
I was from the Port City. That's what I'm talking about. Port City, born in Wilmington, and then my grandmother, a lot of my family is out on the outskirts of Wilmington in Leland.
Okay.
So, you know, that's country. You understand what I'm saying? That's when we had two directions. Up the road and down the road. And everybody know which direction was which. If I say I'm going up the road, they know which way you're going. There's no confusion. You understand what I'm saying? So, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I was down that way, was it 2019 or did I ride down there in 2020? I might have just took a drive down there in 2020. And a lot of things have changed in the old Leland neighborhood. They got a highway that comes, you know, a little straight. I still took the long way because I didn't know nothing about the highway that my cousin told me, you know, you could have cut an extra 15 minutes off if you'd have went that route. I don't know nothing about that. But I rode by my grandmother's house where I spent a lot of time because she kept me until I was 8. My mom was there until I was about 5. Then she went to college. And I stayed with my grandmother. So my mom that's a whole nother story. She went to Delaware State and she did her 4-year degree in 3 years. Not that joint out. I'm talking about you're not gonna believe this now. 27 hours her last semester to graduate.
You can do that?
Dude, I didn't know you could do that. Apparently you can do that because it was some of those, when she described it to me, it's kind of like, you could probably even do that now in some cases where the semester is split in half. They do that in high school and stuff like that. So instead of, some students will take one class all year long, every other day. Other students will take the one class for the semester and then be done and be on to a different class the next semester. So they do it every day for one semester and then be on to a different class. So her classes were split up, some of them, into half of semesters. So a half a semester, you did a whole semester's worth of work. So that's how she was able to fit so many classes in that last semester.
And congratulations to her.
You have to say that, yeah. I didn't know that could be done. And that was back then. So that's how she got out in 3 years. And then when she got out, we moved into the city, into Wilmington, and I stayed there until I was 11, and then moved to Winston.
Okay, so you left the ENC at 11 years old. When you got to Winston, is that when you got the paper route job?
Yes. Well, so I was 11 when I moved to Winston, and then at 12, I got me a little paper route job. You know, dude, see them around throwing papers and whatnot. You know, that's the thing. That's the lick right there. You get about a little $11 to $15 a week for a 12-year-old in the 80s.
Right.
You know, come on now. You got the lady that sell the Kool-Aid cups. You understand what I'm saying? For a quarter. You know, you got $11, $12 in your pocket. You can buy a Kool-Aid cup for a quarter. You rich. Yeah, so that's when I started my little paper route. And so I had to get up early, man, 5:30, throw papers in my neighborhood and then this neighborhood across the street, and you know, be back in time to catch the bus.
Oh, so you did this Monday through Friday?
Monday through Saturday.
And you still went to school?
Monday through Saturday. We had to, and paper was delivered twice a day. So you had the morning edition and the evening edition. Yeah, so and you had to, at the bottom of the hill, they would drop off the stack of papers. So then you had to go down to the bottom of the hill and then roll your papers, put the rubber bands around them and all that kind of stuff, and then walk around and do your route.
So would you get paid for, I guess, how many you took, or you gonna get paid the same amount regardless?
I think it was based on how many subscriptions. You know, so as a little kid, I didn't have to go and try to sell the paper or anything like that. So I wasn't responsible for that part. People would call in and get the subscriptions. I want to get the paper delivered and all that kind of stuff. So I just had to deliver what was on the sheet. And so if you only had 1 or 2 houses on your paper route, then obviously your money was going to be different. And some of that money went to you, because sometimes you had to go collect. Like that person over there, they owe $5 or something. So you go to the door, you get the $5, and then that's pretty much, you know, your money. So I would get about maybe $15 a week, something like that.
Nice,
Yeah.
a nice little hustle for a 12-year-old.
For a 12-year-old.
Now, going from Leland to Winston, what was there a culture shock at all?
Well, now remember, it was from Leland.
Oh, Leland to Wilmington.
To Wilmington.
Then to Winston.
Right, and Wilmington was familiar because Leland was the town, one of them towns again on the outskirts.
Right.
So if you wanted to go and do some big shopping, you know, go to the mall and go to Rose's back then. You know what I'm saying?
You went school shopping in Wilmington.
In Kmart, you know what I'm saying? But everything you had to do was over in Wilmington. Whether you had to go to the doctor, whether you had to go, whatever it was. If you wanted to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was in Wilmington.
Yeah.
We called it going to town.
I'm familiar.
You understand what I'm saying? We about to go to town.
For us, it's like Jacksonville, New Bern, Moorhead, things all around us was, Everything was like at least 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm familiar with the plight.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And we had to get across it. We had to cross the Cape Fear River, I guess that comes down through there. And we would see the battleship every day going. You know what I'm saying? That's parked over there. It's a tourist attraction now. But we would see it all the time, just back and forth, and pay no attention to it. It's just part of the scenery.
Gotcha. Now, growing up in Winston-Salem, what did that do for you? How did that, I guess, mold you? Or did you already have your structure and instructions from being in Leland?
Well, okay, so I did elementary school in Leland. So back then it was primary school. And Wilmington, I started 3rd grade. So I did 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in Wilmington. So that was already, you know, a bigger city experience. And so Winston was just another, you know, because you know I'm 11, 12, so it's not like I'm doing all the roaming around Winston that I could do. I was confined to the complex pretty much.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? To the apartment complex. And so, you know, plenty friends in the apartment complex. I mean, you know, big old complex, plenty kids, everybody in the same financial situation. So that's just part of the story, and I'm sure that it all had an effect. You know what I'm saying? Because you're only the sum of your experiences anyway. Right? So all the stuff you did, all the people you know, all of that stuff is inside of there, and that made you who you are. So yeah, I got a lot of wild stories from back in the day, and you know, and some of those friends from back in the day, still friends with today, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes those wild stories come back up from back, remember when, blah, blah, blah. You're like, man, I was 12, I was 13, when I did that crazy stuff. But they be holding on to it, man.
Gotta let that go.
Yeah.
Gotta let that go, man.
Gotta let it go.
Gotta make new memories, man. Gotta make new memories. Okay, so what point did you decide that radio was your thing, or was photography before radio?
Radio was definitely first because, and I'll say before radio, it was just music. Mm-hmm. So even growing up in Leland, music was always around. We watched. So you had we go back to the country. You might have to know something about this now. We had 2 channels, 3 and 6. You know what I'm saying? And so you had to watch what your grandma was watching during the day or in the evening, whether it was the nightly news or Lawrence Welk or whatever the case may be. What was that one with Roy and somebody? It was some country show where the guy played one guy played the banjo, other guy played the guitar or something. If I remember the name of that show, man, you got me thinking about it now.
It wasn't a variety type show with just them 2 guys?
It was a variety type show.
Hee-haw.
It was hee-haw. It was a hee-haw. Exactly. So we watched all that kind of stuff, but then, of course, Saturday mornings, you had the little cartoons, but then there was the Jackson 5 cartoon that used to come on Saturday morning, and then about 10, 11 o'clock or so was Soul Train. So, we got, the stuff was definitely on, and then, my grandmother had in the front room, that's your family, they come through the back door.
Right.
If somebody comes through the back door, you obviously know them. The insurance man
or Jenkins came inside of the front room.
Came to the front door and didn't go past the front room. That's the special meeting parlor. You know what I'm saying? But that's where she had
that's the business section.
That's the business section is the front room. Like people don't have front rooms like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Where that's where you had your good furniture. So she had the big piece of furniture stereo in there. Mm-hmm. That big old piece where you lift up the lid. You know what I'm saying? That was a big piece of furniture. That was your record player in there, your 8-track player in there, and all that kind of stuff. So we had some records, Stevie Wonder and all of those folks, the Key of Life, man. I remember that stuff because we played it around the house.
Yeah.
So it was music before radio. So then now, because I think about all the technology that came about since I was little. So I remember hopping in the cars that had 8-track players in them.
Yeah, I missed that. I dodged that episode in life.
You dodged that one.
Yeah, I was born in '85, so yeah,
Yeah. So I caught that one, and then of course the records was already popping, but then the tape players. So I got still plenty tapes to this day that I used to record off the radio. And that's how we did it back then. That's how you got your little songs and your mixtape. You press play, you might even have the DJ talking in there a little bit, but you got your song.
Right.
And we would just sit and listen to the radio all day. This is now me in Winston-Salem as a kid, because in Wilmington, I remember for Christmas one time getting a little transistor radio, just a little radio, man, maybe about that big, and just had an on and off switch on the side. You turn it up, and because the on and off switch was also the volume. Mm-hmm. Turn it up, and then the other one you slide across on the top to get your channels, and all the black stations, of course, was on the AM side. Oh yeah, man. AM stations, black stations didn't make the transition to FM probably until the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, and so and the way if you put on your AM radio now in your car, that's exactly how it sounded then. That's just how it goes.
So it's been sounding the same way
Yeah, it's because of the wave, the way the wave, an AM wave looks different than an FM wave. And the FM wave is more like an HD version of the thing. So the way that it's made, it's the way the wave rolls, it carries more information. And so that's why you start to get, your better sounding. It's crystal clear, you get it. But AM, it sounds like, but the difference between them is the AM wave travels farther. So sometimes if it's late at night, and you put on, when the sky is clear of all types of mess, you put on the AM station, man, you might be able to catch something that's being broadcast from like way Tennessee, or even further, just because of the way the wave travels. But then there are pitfalls too. You go under bridges. That AM station, it'll lose its signal for a second just because of the way the wave travels.
I used to wonder why sometimes, like on Saturday nights, because that's when I did most of my radio listening.
Mm-hmm.
When I was young, I like to be by myself, so I just go to the room, turn the radio on. I listened to who was the DJ at the time? God, it was Kiss 102 back home. So
Okay.
I don't want to say the wrong DJ, but either way, when they used to do their mixes, I used to just sit there and listen and try to guess the song he was blending into.
Okay.
One song, and then sometimes I could pick up 97.3 down there in Wilmington, like back home, and home is near, like I said, around New Bern, Jackson.
Right.
And that was always weird to me because during the day I'm like, well, I know I was just listening to this last night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it never dawned on me like this is why this is doing it. I just always waited till Saturday night. You know what I mean? And there we go.
Yeah, man. It's it has come a long ways. I mean, just the whole radio industry. I don't know if you got to get into that part, but it has changed. I mean, in the way that we listen, because I remember guys from back in the day. You talking about remembering the DJ name, one of the most famous Winston-Salem DJs. If you go to talk to anybody in Winston-Salem of a certain age and ask them about Daddy-O on the patio, now you got yourself a whole conversation. And the radio station that he was on, it was an AM station, and I didn't know this until recently, but he was actually sitting out on the patio at the radio station doing his show.
Really?
In East Winston. You see what I'm saying? I mean, he was over there like up the street from Winston-Salem State type stuff. It was a little building. Somebody showed it to me like, yeah, that's where the radio station was right there. And it had a little upstairs, had a little patio outside. And he would be out there broadcasting his Daddy on the patio. And he had his theme song. He got a dog in the east. Dun. Everybody knew it. When that song came on, Daddy on the patio was about to be on your radio. You see what I'm saying? And hey, that was lit. Daddy on the patio. So the music came before even being interested in radio, and it warped my perception of what radio actually was.
You and me both.
Yeah. So I thought it was something different until you get in it.
Yeah, right on.
It's like, oh, okay.
The cubicles threw me off.
Right.
First and foremost, when they took me into the actual, this way it gets done in here really.
Yeah, right.
Like, damn, there's a lot of desks in here.
Right, exactly.
But I get it. Everything has a business side. Everything that makes money has a business side to it. So, I understand. Now, Daddy-O on the patio, was he one of your influences as far as getting in the radio, or he just so happened to be on the radio while you?
No, I never really actually thought about it. I never thought about radio as a job, but I was always into music. I can go back to listening to even watching BET when it was first on the air, when it was actually black owned.
Right.
Back then, when when Teen Summit was on there. I don't know.
And what's my joint with Rachel? Was it God? What was it with Rachel? Because Donnie Simpson was on.
Donnie Simpson was on there.
And then Rachel had the Caribbean joint. I forget the name of the show.
Was it Caribbean Vibes or something?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Something like that. Yeah.
I missed that.
But back in the day, BET used to play videos all day long.
Yeah.
And they had the unseen DJ, Paul Porter, I think was his name. The unseen, all you would hear him talk every now and then, but you never saw him. But they played all your black videos, because we was looking for that, because before there was something on those two channels, some back in Leland, Friday Night Flicks or something like that would come on, and you had to wait until a certain time to see the black video, and it was probably going to be Michael Jackson.
That's the blackest they got was Michael Jackson.
Beat It or Billie Jean, and then it was going to be at the end of the show. During my 80s period, coming up, as a teenager, I know a whole lot of white songs. Because those were the songs that was, because I used to listen to Rick Dees. He did a countdown. Casey Kasem. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of
Casey Kasem. And so they would always do that top 40 stuff. And that's the stuff, and of course back then, I don't know how, but back then, white folks controlled the radio. Wherever.
I guess it ain't too much different.
It ain't too much different. So we knew all the white songs. The Men at Work, the 99 Love Balloons, the Billy, what's his name? Billy Idol, I think was one of them. But what's his name? It'll come to me.
Billy Joel.
Well, Billy Joel. What was I already said? I already said Men at Work. But Duran, Hall and Oates.
Now see, some of them folks I ain't mad at. And the reason being is because I learned a lot of them songs, the older songs, through listening to certain rap songs growing up. I'm like, I like this melody, so whose is it? Where does this come from? Then I listen to the original.
I can't go for that.
But my favorite though was Regulate.
Okay, yeah.
Listen to the Michael McDonald joint.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But then if you go with Michael McDonald, then you got to go and check out the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
That's when they killed it, boy.
What's most of my dudes' names? The Bee Gees. And my joint from them is Inside and Out.
Inside. Okay.
Yeah, man. So
and the Bee Gees got a lot of cuts too.
Yes, sir.
They got a lot of cuts. I'll play some Bee Gees now.
Go.
I'll play some Bee Gees right now, I'm telling you. Yeah. So all of that stuff, man, got me into it. I still remember the first time, and this was I in Leland at the time, or had just moved to Wilmington? I think I was right around, but still, even having moved to Wilmington, it wasn't like Leland was gone. Because my grandmother was still in Leland, and that's my family, all my family, cousins up and down the street. You know how we go down out there in the country.
Yeah. Your neighbors are your family.
Exactly. Yeah. The aunt that's across the street might not be your biological aunt, but she's married to your grandfather's brother.
Right.
So that's your aunt.
If you call him uncle, then hey, I can't just call you Miss Pearly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that she the same age as your grandmother. So Aunt Sue, but her children are your cousins. You treated them almost like they was first cousins, even though they wasn't.
Yeah.
But I still remember the first time hearing, first rap song I heard was Rapper's Delight on the radio.
So you were right. You were there from the beginning of
hip
hop.
Yeah.
That's different.
So that was like 1978.
Wow.
78, right around in there. Rapper's Delight, first song I heard on the radio. Oh yeah, first rap song I heard on the radio. And then it went from there.
That is amazing. Which now speeding up until you actually getting in the radio, was the traffic reporter job, was that your first gig in radio?
No. So the radio happened because I was working in between. I took the long route through college. You know, I took the scenic route. You know,
Which college did you attend?
North Carolina A&T State University.
I just wanted you to say it out loud.
Yeah. The North Carolina A&T State University. You see it on
Yeah. They sell them at Walmart, though. Anybody can buy one of them.
Right. You're right. I paid the bills over. Yeah. So taking a long route, and then one summer, I was working at Holiday Inn. That's over there at the mall, Four Seasons Mall. And I was doing room service. And so we had some extended duty later on. There was a teachers conference or something going on. And they were having a banquet later on that day. So they needed some folks to, you know, put on the little vests and to serve the coffee, pour coffee and all of that kind of stuff. So I remember going over to one of the ladies and said, you know, would you like some more coffee? And she looked around, just like, have you ever thought about going into communications?
Just like that.
Just like that. And she said, you should think about going into communications. You have a nice voice. You should think about going into communications. So then I did think about it.
Yeah.
And the next time I got back into school, I was at UNCG for a second. And as a matter of fact, was I even in school then before I started working at UNCG's radio station? I just went over there and was like, hey, you know, boom, boom, boom. How can you get on the radio over here? And folks probably wouldn't even know they had a radio station.
Is that 103 something?
103, I think it's 103.5 or something.
WUAG?
WUAG.
Yeah, okay.
Very small. We're talking about if you get too far away from campus, and I'm talking about feet.
Yeah.
You probably gonna lose the signal. They had 16 watts.
16.
16 watts. Compare that with A&T, who has 10,000 watts. And then you compare that with commercial radio stations like, you know, your 102 and your 97 and all that kind of stuff that has 100,000 watts.
Right.
So you see what I'm saying? So 100,000 watts on an FM station will get you about 60 miles. A 60-mile radius. So now, you know, if you're good at math, you can start breaking it down after that. So, it's hard to hear A&T's radio station in Winston. You know, it might go in and go out. You might be able to pick it up on a clear day and all that kind of stuff. And then your 16 watts, UNCG.
It's hard to hit that across the street.
It's hard to hit that across the street. You might, you know, have some traction depending on which way the tower's pointing, you know, but I was able to do whatever I wanted to do. So I had to kind of mix up. I had a 3-hour show. And the first half was, I think I was doing slow jams or something like that. And the next half I would do hip hop or something, you know. So that's how I got into it. And so from there I said, well, let me, you know, go over to A&T and get on over there. And so I think her name was Yvonne something. I'm sure I mentioned her name. I'll run into her again soon. Last time I ran into her was at the jazz festival. Yvonne Anderson. Okay. And from there, I did some stuff over at Winston-Salem State for just a little spell. I mean, it was a Saturday night show, a couple of Saturday night shows that I did over there. And this guy from 97 called me that my mom knew. But he's like, man, you know, you sounded pretty good over there. You might need to do it commercially, because he was already doing commercial radio. He was doing the gospel over at 97 on Sundays.
This is Power 97 at the time.
This was Power 97 at the time.
Okay.
So he said, hey, you know, you might want to, you know, check into that, and I could talk to my man over here, my program director over here at 97 or whatnot, and see if we can get you on. So, and he did that. And so, and he put me on, and back then you work your way up through to try to get a show. You had to do those practice positions.
Yeah.
So I had 2 to 6 on Friday night and Saturday night, or Saturday morning and Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So 2 to 0, that's as overnight as you can get.
Yeah, for real.
2 to 6 on the weekends. You see what I'm saying?
That's when you know you want it.
That's when you want it. So Then I ended up doing, I think, a 6 to 10 on a Saturday morning, and we had one of the shows that we ran during that show was another countdown, Walk Baby Love.
Word, he had the countdown. Back home, he was on 101.9 on, I want to say Sundays.
He still has the countdown?
So yeah, I don't think he still has it now, but I know growing up, we used to listen to that countdown on Sundays. Then it switched to Big Tigger, had the syndicated joint on Sunday, but yeah, I remember
Walk Baby Love,
man.
And back then they had to send you the CD every week. There wasn't no punching them up on satellite.
I want to say they did that for when I was working. You know, when we was when we was working together at the place. they did it the same way. I want to say.
Well, for a mix show, well, because I know my man used to send in his. Did he email us for the mix show? Jimmy Jam.
That's what it was.
He used to email it or send it on CD or something. I don't know how he got it over there.
Yeah. Now back to your Power 97 days.
Yeah.
Was that back then? Was that the show that housed Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul?
No.
What?
You know about Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul?
Hey, man, I tell you, I did research on.
Okay. No, that was not Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul. Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul. So the Power 97 days was Gatewood.
Okay.
So that's east side of Greensboro. Right off of Wendover. If you know where that fire station is on Wendover, there's a building right beside that fire station. Right before you get to English, if you're going out east. That fire station that's on the corner, they're remodeling it now, so it'll probably be finished within the next few months. But there's a building right beside it. That was Power 97 on Gatewood. And if you go by there today, you'll still see a satellite. Like, if it's not on top of the building, it's right out in the thing somewhere. And that was where Power 97 was, and 1510, the gospel station.
Okay.
Yeah, Gatewood. So a lot of stuff happened up there in Gatewood.
What happened on Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul?
Well,
you had a funny experience from what I read.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you about this.
Yeah, I didn't want you to tell me nothing. No. I didn't want you to get nothing up.
So we ended up. This was in the late 90s, or it starting with 95, 96, 97. There were restrictions on how many radio stations you could own. So that's why you had 97 over there, and then 102 was over there doing its own thing, and it had 2 or 3 stations or something like that. But there was a cap, and so you had 97 and 102 competing, because people might not understand now. They might even think today that 97 and 102 compete when they actually don't.
Right.
They're owned by the same company. So they loosened those restrictions around 96 and said, now, okay, well, you can own, X amount of radio stations. I don't know if they said it's unlimited in a certain market, or they raised the cap so high that so now that the same radio company that could only own 2 or 3 can own 6 or 7. And the reason why there was a cap before was because if you control the airwaves and the television, waves and whatnot, you can control the message. So if it's only you and you're owning all of these media properties, then the message is, it can be kind of suspect. You see what I'm saying? Because you got people going in a certain direction, right? So they wanted to limit that. But then they said, okay, now we trust you to handle yourselves. You can own 8 now or something. So then we ended up out National Service Road in the same building as 102. They bought 97.
Okay.
And 1510 came along with it. And so now that you have another radio station, that's when you started seeing radio stations across the country, because everybody started doing it at that point. Once the federal released those regulations, everybody started doing it. So that's when you started to see specialty stations popping up. So now you have 97 that could just focus on the R&B, and then 102 can just be strictly hip hop.
Right.
And it was like that starting off. And matter of fact, the person who did our imaging at first was Barry White.
Barry White who?
Barry White. That's who our imager. So you put it on 97 and you would hear 97.1 QMG. It was his voice that was on our imaging, because that's what they wanted. They wanted to slow the tempo down, just be R&B, and and not be in the same boat at all with 102. So 102 was gonna be 97. Go over here for the slow music.
Right.
So then came Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul. Yeah, and Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul. It was on Wednesday nights. And I was just talking about Dr. Deb's Heart and Soul the other day with somebody. I said, Dr. Deb will put you in some mess. She was, for her to be a psychologist, she was messy, boy. Dr. Deb would be messy. We would disagree a lot, because Dr. Deb because it was a show where people would call in about their problems, kind of like you hear if you watch or listen to Steve Harvey now. They have the Strawberry Letter.
Right.
So people would actually call in with those problems and say, I did such and such and such. And so she would give them some solutions. You should try to do this and do that and the other. And I remember one time she told one girl, if you think your husband or boyfriend, whatever it is cheating on you and da-da-da-da. And said, when he leave the house, I will leave the house. I'll be right there with him. And I said, well, Dr. Dale, what is that going to do? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that if that's the case, then that would be a person that you should just let go. Let them go. If that's what they want to, let them go be what they want to be.
This is the advice that you counteracted with on the show?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So one particular time, I remember I was talking about a situation I knew about a key. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling this because I think it has something to do with something that somebody else had called in about. And I said, Dr. Devin, yeah. And so the lady, instead of taking the key back to the person, she mailed the key back to the guy and, told him it was over. And then the next call I got, she was like, hey, Sheldon, this is so and so and so, and you're talking about me on your radio station.
Word. The person you were talking about called in.
Yeah. Boy, it got quiet in there. It got quiet. I don't even know how it ended. I think I might have mistakenly hung up.
Mistakenly.
Yeah, I pushed the wrong button, I'm sure. But I had to go ahead and get that call off the air. I didn't know where it was going.
Would you consider that, I guess, one of your more embarrassing moments during your tenure at radio?
Well, no. Because actually that was kind of fun when you think about it. Because it was good for the listeners.
Well, yeah.
Because, they're sitting there like, it was almost like some Jerry Springer stuff popping off over here on the radio. You know what I'm saying? So that was actually kind of fun. Embarrassing moments at radio, man. Just be when you make little silly mistakes. Maybe you might introduce the wrong song or do something crazy. But I don't even let that stuff bother me, man. And I learned one thing I did learn in radio is never go back and apologize.
Just keep going like nothing happened.
Just keep going.
Yeah, because they can't see you, so.
Well, they can't see you, and you got to think about how many people who are listening at any given time. So 5 minutes go by, or 10 minutes go by before you talk again, and you're like, am I bad about that thing that happened? And some people are like, what is he talking about?
They had no clue what happened.
Had no clue. Gotcha. Now you already done put yourself out there.
Gotcha.
So you just let it go. Just keep on rolling.
Now, another part of your exquisite life, right? Mm-hmm. You got to go to Turks and Caicos.
Yes.
On a photography mission.
No.
It wasn't a photography mission?
It was not a photography mission. It was a video mission. And then that's when I started shooting photography.
Oh, my apologies, man. We're still with Bartlett McQueenie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened was when I was I tell you, I took the long route at A&T.
Right.
So there was a group that came to A&T called it was a leadership academy. It was called PI, and it stood for Pioneers in Education Leadership Academy. And there was this guy that came from California, big time producer, big time video producer and whatnot. And he came, and I mean, dude was on point. And he came with his little video camera, man, to shoot these different segments, because the goal was to post these video segments every night so the parents that sent their kids to these leadership academies could see exactly what they were doing and how they were interacting with folks. And it was Will. And he showed us some stuff. He was a beast on Avid, because that's what we learned on an A&T.
Yeah. And
he was just a beast in editing, and that's when I remember that. That's where I learned that it's not the program, it's the so you have to use the software in any situation like an instrument. Like know your instrument, right? It's kind of like when a musician, somebody might be a great saxophone player, somebody else might be a great bass player, or trumpet, but if the instrument is just sitting there, it's just in your head, right? The music, the instrument is not gonna play itself. The music itself is in your head. You have to figure out how to get the music that you're thinking to come through and make your fingers do, make your body do what your head is thinking that you want it to do, right? So all you need to know is, if I want to play ba-doom boom on this bass, but now I'm on a saxophone, where are those notes on the saxophone? Because I know how I want it to sound musically, but I don't know where the notes are. So now they just need to know how to get to the notes. And once you learn how to get to the notes, you can start playing anything you want to do on there, because the music is up here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with software. With the software, if you know how to do something on an Avid, on an Avid editing software, and then you get Premiere Pro or Final Cut or whatever the case may be, you can't sit back and be like, wow, I know how to do it on Avid, but I don't. Well then, okay, well, find out how to do that thing that you know how to do on Avid. Find out how to do it on there, because the thing that you want to do is up here, and that software will most likely do it too. So you can retrain yourself on a different software, and they're all kind of typically the same. They all have timelines and folders that you drag stuff out, and you can drag it to the timeline, and you can splice and cut and move stuff around and do transitions and all that kind of stuff. You just need to know, well, where are they on that certain software? So Will, with the Pioneers in Education Leadership Academy, he had his hand in a lot of projects, and based upon what we did and how we helped him at the Leadership Academy, he didn't mind putting our names in the hat for some other stuff that he had going on that he couldn't get to. And at that point, I was graduating. So when I ran into him, I had a months left or something, and he had a project in the Bahamas that he was working on. I think while I was in school, it was at Thanksgiving. During that Thanksgiving break, I went down to the Bahamas to shoot a project that he couldn't do. And he recommended me with the lady and whatnot, and so we shot that and did that. So funny about that was around the time that, what was the lady, Anna Nicole Smith? white lady who she ended up overdosing or dying or doing something.
Yeah, that's it.
Cause I just saw a picture of her daughter recently, and it was like,
she looked like her mom.
She looked like her mom.
Yeah, that's her.
So this was Anna Nicole Smith back in like 2005 or so, and she was down there in the Bahamas doing a lot of stuff. And so the guy that we followed around that day to get this footage for this big convention that they were having coming up, he was the minister of housing. So the housing thing that they had going on, they was wondering, well, how did she get such and such and such and such? And kind of find out he was all in the middle of it. And it's interesting because I'm like, I don't know nothing about these Bohemian politics and all that kind of stuff, and find out later that the guy that we were interviewing, the guy that we were following around, was all up in the mix with this Anna Nicole stuff. I said, man, you never know. So we went from that to, that was that fall, and then I was graduating in the spring, and she had a thing that she had secured in Turks and Caicos to be the media company for this new government that was coming into Turks and Caicos, and they needed some folks to, do the cameras and the editing and all that kind of stuff. And so we were like, kind of like C-SPAN. We followed them around, and at that point, it was Michael Missick. He was the chief minister of Turks and Caicos at the time.
So this is when Diamond was coming to the island.
Exactly.
And by Diamond, I mean Lisa Ray.
He had just married Lisa Ray at that time. Yeah.
So were y'all there filming the wedding, or?
No. By the time I got down there, he was already married.
Okay.
And they had not been married long. So they were, this was still fresh.
Right.
This was still brand new, but we would see her all the time. It was crazy.
How many Coming to America jokes did y'all make while y'all was on the island? I have a date with Lisa. How y'all let nobody make them jokes?
No, man, no. That was a learning experience down there. That's when I really found out how much Dominicans look like us. That Dominicans are just black people.
Word.
You know what I mean? Because you would see Dominicans and speaking not a lick of English. Because they were right, because Dominican Republic is, not too far off from Turks and Caicos.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So then I started learning what to look for. Like, oh, okay, that's a Dominican right there. And then, oh, that's a Haitian. And then because they, down there, they treat the Haitians like we treat the Mexicans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because Haitians trying to get to the U.S., right? Mm-hmm. So they would reach Turks and Caicos before they get to the U.S., and so some of them get off and land right there in Turks and Caicos and be good with it. But yeah, they're the class that get treated poorly. But it was a lot of fun and expensive. We probably be complaining about a $3 gas then, but then this was 2006 when I was down there. Gas was already $4 or $5. That was in 2006. That's how it is. I mean, they have to remember, they have to get their stuff. Everything that comes in there is coming in on a boat.
Right.
So, because it's an island, it's an island territory, archipelagical. I know I'm probably messing up that word, but meaning that it's a country with multiple islands. So they have Turks and Caicos has about 40-something islands. 7 of which are inhabited.
So it's empty.
Yeah, just islands. So if you got the money, you can go and buy it. And basically have a whole island to yourself.
But still be under the rule of Missick.
Well, he's had his own legal problems since then and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, but basically, it's just like buying property though.
Right.
So if you want to go to any other islands and put a house, you can get your little plot, you know what I'm saying? But if you can afford to buy the whole thing, you buy the whole thing, but it's still, you paying property taxes to the government of Turks and Caicos. So think about how small it is. at the time, this was 2006, 30,000 people in the whole country.
30,000. That's a college.
30,000 people in the whole country. Right. A&T got what? Over 10,000 people now.
Yeah. So a third of the population goes to T. So yeah, you can just fill up the colleges around here.
You see what I'm saying? 30,000 people in the whole country. So everybody know. Everybody.
It's like a big Leland.
It's like a big Leland. And, but then you split those 30,000 people across the seven islands, and then so there are some islands that never get any love because tourists don't go there. And you got two, the capital, which was Grand Turk, they get some love because it's the capital, but then Providenciales is where all the stuff really jump off. That's where they got the resorts. That's
the nightlife area. That's the city.
That's I mean you can. There's a little club, everywhere. Every island probably got their own little thing popping off. But Providenciales, that's when you're gonna find your resorts. And then unfortunately, when people go to these places, they don't get into what the locals do. Now that's what you should want to do.
Right.
Some people, they'll go and they're still in the resort and then come back and be like, oh man, it was so great, because they had these people come and serving them. No, what you want to do is the people that's handling your bags at the thing, the people that's working behind the desk when you get there, you go check into your room and you come back and have a conversation with them. Like, hey, hey, where you going tonight?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't hang out at the resorts.
No, they're from there. Like, we're home.
They home. So when you going home, where is the club? That's where I want to go. And then they're like, what's you? Let's go. I get your number. We share information, and then next thing you know, you out in the streets.
That's like being from being from by the coast. Everybody want to go to the beach, but people who live down there, we can count on our hands and feet how many times we actually touch that water, man.
Exactly.
We don't go down there like that.
Exactly. Like yeah. You go. Listen. You go to that little hole in the wall club that's just built with cinder blocks. but it's jumping, and they got all the beer. They still got a bar in there. They got all the beer and liquor you want, but it's jumping.
Yeah.
And it's you where the locals are, and that's where you want to be even when you go out of the country, because they know what's going on.
Yeah, ain't no need to go experience somewhere if you just wanted to look like home when you go there.
And that's what they do at the resort. They may you get everything. You get you get an all inclusive joint, and so But I saw a lot of good stuff down there, man. I used to see one time we were shooting something, and I'm looking at this one table, and I see this woman over there. I was like, she kind of cute and whatever. But she looked familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Vivica Fox. Sitting right there. So that's when I found out Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray were like,
gotcha,
like tight.
Did you ever meet Lisa Ray?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we had to interview her several times.
Gotcha.
So, I'm the cameraman and whatnot at that point. I'm not conducting the interview, but we all right there, you know what I'm saying? I mean, in their house and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I still got some of my old cell phone. I don't even know if I can cut on the old cell phone, but me and then taking, snapping some pictures of some stuff that's in the house. Was like, hey, this is probably Lisa Ray. And then I got my own pictures, because that's when I started doing photography.
Right.
So I got pictures, candid pictures of her just sitting over there doing there, or even video of her just talking to little kids that she probably don't even know that I shot. But we were there to shoot some other event, and she was there, supporting her husband. And so I got the camera going, got the tape rolling.
Yeah.
Got it pointed over there. And I was like, well, I got my Lisa Ray footage.
So she on B-roll and don't even know it.
She's on B-roll.
Gotcha.
She's on B-roll. I remember one of the projects that we went to shoot. We went to shoot on an island called Salt Key, and that would be more like a retirement community.
So that's Florida.
So that's Florida. Little small island. It's quiet. A lot of older folks live over there. But we were there to pump up the accomplishments of the PNP. That was the party that was in power at the time with Missick and all of them. We were there to pump up the progress, their progress of and the thing that they did on Salt Key was install bathrooms in everyone's home. So now you don't have to go to the outhouse.
And this was in 06?
This is in 06.
They had like a celebration or a ceremony, not celebration, maybe a ceremony recognizing the fact that we now have indoor plumbing.
It was more like, hey, promises made, promises kept. We told you that we're gonna, South Key, we're gonna get indoor plumbing going on, and so people vote for yeah. Right. And then so we interviewed the people. I'm so happy that I don't have to go out to the bathroom, to the outhouse late at night, midnight, to go to the,
Yeah, that would be dangerous, especially if you say it's just a retirement type community, so it's a bunch of elderly people.
A lot of elderly people, because the young folks that are over there, they probably want to go over to Providencial or somewhere where it's a little bit more popping, and a lot of stuff going on. So, because probably Salt Key, you probably gonna have a club over there. You know what I mean? And even if they were over there at Salt Key, they would get on a little boat and go over to Providencial. That wasn't nothing but a 30-40 minute little quick boat ride. So, but then you think about it, hey, America is not what it seems. Because even in 2006, you might have had some folks still in outhouses. That you would think that United States would be way more progressive, but we got some places around here.
No, the rural America exists. You know what I mean?
It absolutely does exist. You remember that movie, A Time to Kill?
Yeah.
And the dates that they put on that movie, it was like 1995 or something when something happened, and then you saw the conditions of the area. You like 1995.
It's like a civil rights movie.
You was like, good boy.
But I can believe it though, being from a rural spot in America.
Yeah.
The stuff like it exists, man.
I remember our neighbor in Leland, across the street, they had an outhouse, and that was in the 70s. Nobody moved into that house after they moved into it, or after they left, but yeah.
I remember growing up and having to do that same thing, and also how the kitchen was separate from the house. We had to go outside and walk into where the kitchen was at. Like, this was my grandma's.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I'm young, but I got to see a lot coming up.
And that's just the way that it was. It was nothing abnormal.
Yeah, it's like when you tell people we don't have stoplights where I'm from, they're like, "What city you from?" And I'll be like, "Look, this conversation is going to go nowhere. I know how this conversation gonna go. I'm gonna tell you where I'm from. You're gonna say I ain't never heard of that after I already told you. If I tell you, you wouldn't know anyway. So let's just skip all that."
Exactly. Yeah. Of course, no stoplights.
Yeah. So the best way to describe, to describe a rural spot now would be it's a Dollar General close by. Cause wherever there's some land, a Dollar General is setting up camp.
Go to Dollar General. And let me say this, Turks and Caicos has no stoplights.
At all? On the whole island?
And all islands. No stoplights. They use roundabouts.
Okay.
And so that was weird because we didn't have roundabouts like that here. But when I came back, I started seeing roundabouts. And I was like, this is crazy. I mean, I know about a roundabout because from Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas and whatnot, but now we started seeing them pop up over here, and they're effective. Hey, less electricity, you get it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to set it wired up. Just put a circle.
I've yet to see anybody have an accident at a roundabout. I'm not saying it ain't never
Yeah.
happened. I'm just saying I've yet to drive up the one and it be the cops right there taking insurance.
I've seen that once, yeah.
Really? At a roundabout?
Yeah, and because in Winston, off of Clemensville Road, for some reason, they got 3 roundabouts in a row. So you hit that first one, and then you drive a little bit, you got another one, then you drive a little bit, then you got another one.
By that third one, they like, man, forget it. Take it how it come.
And I still see, I just saw this the other day coming through the roundabout. People don't know still how to maneuver in the roundabout. Like somebody was in the roundabout and they're stopping for traffic to let other people. I was like, I say, no. That's where you're messing up. That's how you cause the accident.
Yeah, stopping where there's no stop sign. That'll get you every time.
Right there, because they're like, well, what are these people gonna do? They're like, they're gonna come. They're supposed to stop for you, so you keep going in the roundabout.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. The most fun you've had in either profession, either photography / videography or radio. What was the most exciting experience?
That's the most exciting experience. I would have to say during videography. I would have to say Turks and Caicos though.
You done festivals and everything with radio.
Yeah. Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas, and for the Bahamas, it has to be being involved with Junkanoo. And Junkanoo is a parade that they have they call it, it's Boxing Day and New Year's Eve, because I know I'm going to mess it up. So Boxing Day, I think, is the day after Christmas.
Okay.
So they have, and it's a long parade. So it starts about midnight.
It goes into the morning.
And it might be over
well,
about 8.
That's a stupid question if it starts at midnight.
But it goes long into the morning. Like it might be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock before it's over.
Man.
Yeah, and they have these big, massive outfits and stuff. So they start working on it, and there's prizes. You have different classes, like just like we have 3A, 4A. So it's based upon the size of your school. Mm-hmm. So you have different classes based upon the size of your group. So if you might be an A class group or a B class, and the lower you go down, the smaller your group gets, I believe.
Yeah.
So you might only have 25 members or something like that, where the big ones have about 200, and it'd be a whole line. They come through, man, and the outfits are amazing. You might have somebody's outfit that takes up the whole street. Like the headgear might reach from one side of the street to the other side of the street. It's huge.
So this is like a float, you mean, or this is on one person walking down the street?
This is on a person. Everybody got on something. They have a theme. The group will have a theme, and they come through, man. You hear them because they have drums and a lot of the shakers. So they coming through making a whole lot of noise. Well, a whole lot of. You get a chance, go to YouTube and look up Junkanoo.
Okay.
Junkanoo. And you'll see what I'm talking about. And so I'm over there shooting that. So we in the Bahamas. I'm in the street, got my camera going. And then I'm hearing, ski-wee. You know what I'm saying? Because I have on my little jacket with the A5A on there.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm kind of tripping. That's another thing that kind of threw me off. But of course, when you go to college, you got people that's there from the Bahamas, from Jamaica, from China, from wherever, and they do the same thing that everybody else do. They pledge, they do, such. So they be in their little uniform, and she see the little thing, and then, say the little thing. I'm like, oh, there's the little AKs over here. But they got them all. They got everybody.
They're everywhere, man. AKAs are everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about Greek life, period. And the other time I was when we were about to do a concert go shoot a concert actually. I walked out of the hotel. I had to drop off something for this guy who's gonna edit the footage once we got it, but I had to drop off the computer to him or something. I came out of the hotel. I saw by the pool a group of people that I recognized. Doggone Terrence J and his crew was over there.
Okay.
So this was in 2006. This was August at that point. And I'm talking to him and his people and whatnot, you know, on the Aggie love and all of that, you know, blah, 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 you know, because they're surprised to see me. I knew they were coming. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm plugged in. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the festival. We already know who's at the festival and whatnot. And this one particular dude, we know that he was going to have Terrence J because they frat brothers and whatnot. And he reached out to him. So I come out and I see him by the pool. So I go over there by the pool. And, you know, they're looking at me like, you know, like, what are you doing down here?
Right.
And I was like, man, shit, I done been down here since June.
You pretty much a local at that point.
Yeah. And so they like, you know, it's like, dude. This is August. I say, yeah. I'm talking about June. So I've been down here for 2 months already. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I've been down here for a minute already. So welcome. But I'm gonna, you know, I gotta go and get on the work. You know what I'm saying?
They know me around here. Like Martin. They know me around here.
Yeah. And then, you know, they had to go check up on my story because I told my people, I was like, I said, I know Terrence J. I said, because, you know, they looked at watching BET down there and all that kind of stuff. You know, I said, I know Terrence J. It's like, you know Terrence J? I said, yeah. I mean, I know him. I know Terrence J. I used to work with Terrence J.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, okay. So when they were leaving, one of the guys that used to help us out all the time, you know what I mean, he's, you know, valuable team member, Blacks. If you don't know Blacks and you're in Turks and Caicos, all you gotta do is mention Black's name. And stuff will get done. Mm-hmm. You know, he wasn't no scary dude or nothing, but everybody know each other. And then, you know, Blacks is one of those people that, you know, it's good to know. So Blacks went to the airport when their flight was leaving, and they ran into Terrence, and, you know, he's like, one of our boys that work over here, you know, told us that he know you, Sheldon. He's like, yeah, Sheldon, that's my man, you know. Then he started calling his boy, hey, you know, this dude, he knows Sheldon, da. And so then Blacks came back to me and said, I talked to Terrence at the airport, you know, I told him that he knew. I said, well, what did he say? He's like, I said, I was trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I know him now. I'm not, we didn't just meet, we did some work together.
For sure. Did you have, so when you started working in radio, you ever have like a bucket list of artists that you wanted to meet?
No. Actually not. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person. Yeah, I don't understand that. Well, I mean, it's different shows for different folks. I don't have no pictures with artists and all that kind of stuff because I'm the type that leave people alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You know, I'll speak to you when you come in, you know, say, hey, how you doing? And then keep it pushing. But I'm not, you know, sticking around like.
But how does that work? How does that work for the website then? For the show, for your position at 97? They'll never want to draw traffic to the site and try to push it, or, you know what I mean, take pictures and stuff like that.
Well, see, since, you know, you're talking about something like 97, so yeah, I get hired to do the radio part of it. The pictures are just a.
That's when they send us out there, the promotion text and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, for that kind of stuff. But for me to take pictures of the artists, you know, I like let these, you know, these people want to be left alone a lot of times, just like everybody else. Right. So we might be might connect on some different stuff.
Yeah.
So of course, you know, lately with the pandemic, a lot of the interviews we've been doing and been on Instagram, and, you know, unfortunately you can't hardly trust that platform. It'll drop out on you and do all of that types of stuff. So I've interviewed a few people on there, but the last one was actually one of the most fun. It was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I mean, that's easy. That's big. They got a catalog. You know, you don't have to stretch. You know what I'm saying? You could just, and then they like to talk, and you just let them go. And I like to talk to people or artists and get past the who worked on the album, the standard questions, the producers, people that we don't even know anyway that I might not know.
Right.
What was your motivation for that song? You've been going through some blah, blah, blah. I want to know, hey, some stuff about the artist. Like, who's the artist separate from the person that they're promoting? Like who, okay, so if you're from California, what is the thing in your neighborhood that lets you know that you are back home? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that and it could be I know I'm back at home when my man so and so when he's on the corner selling those hot dogs. I come through. I gotta at least smell the onions on the grill. I know I'm at home.
Right.
When I see that or the whatever the case may be, because things are different. Like in the doors. Whenever you hear those metal doors slam, like you watch Friday, and it's always that all of them have the metal door. You make bam, 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 quit knocking on my door like you the police. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the metal doors like that around here.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? But that is definitely a Compton, California thing. So when I hear that, I be thinking California immediately. And to them, it's just
home. That's just home.
That's just natural. That they probably would move somewhere else and put a metal door up just to have that feeling. So yeah. So I like the behind the scenes stuff, but yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want to force a friendship with any of them just because.
Yeah, no forcing. Yeah, none of that. I'm just saying, like, maybe you got in the radio and be like, man, one day I might meet Gladys Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And you ran across her.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, you know what I mean? Have you met Gladys Knight before?
I have not, and that's one of my favorite artists. But I will tell you something that was kind of funny. So Fantasia came. She did an interview with my man Phil. Interviewed her, and I shot the video for it in there. And after it was over, I told her, I said, you're not gonna remember this, but we actually met in Turks and Caicos. I came over and talked to you. When we were at the ceremony for the Mr. Turks and Caicos, and I told you that I was from Greensboro, and she was, I don't expect her to remember all of that kind of stuff, but because she's been all over the place. But it seemed like you would remember somebody you ran into. He was in another country, and this guy tell you that he's right up the street from you, back at home.
Right.
I said, and I got the footage from your concert. I said, so I can send it to you. She gave me a email address, and it sounded like it was an email address that she just used just for junk. Like I remember it too. It was bizbobo@hotmail.com. I took the address and all that kind of stuff, and I sent the video, and I don't know if she ever got it or something. She never responded if she did, and so then I posted the video on my YouTube page, and so I got the Fantasia concert on my YouTube page.
Okay. She gave you the fake club name.
That's what it seemed like. And this is the old Fantasia. She had just been. The album had not been out too long. With Baby Mama.
Mm-hmm.
There was her first album, and I don't even know if it had been 2 years since she had won American Idol. So she was still. They was on her, but I saw a lot of people over there, man. Her, Keisha Cole, Alicia Keys, Freddie Jackson.
Freddie Jackson.
Yeah. Oh man, listen, I learned something when I was over there. I also saw Kenny Rogers.
In Turks and Caicos?
Dude. I was surprised, but they know that country music, because you think about what it is they have to listen to, man. When he did The Gambler, shut the whole place down.
Word up.
they know they got Kenny Rogers, and they was happy to have Kenny Rogers.
All right.
So, and who I saw T.I. over there. T.I., some girl reached up on the stage, tried to grab him. He stopped the whole thing. He said, "Look here, don't you ever touch me no more." I said, "Okay." So yeah, I saw, then of course a whole lot of reggae artists, man. It was one of the first concerts we did over there was a Digicel concert. And Digicel is a phone company. And they were just opening in Turks and Caicos. And so, this big concert was a big promotional concert and all that kind of stuff. Before they got there, there was only one other phone company, and it was Cable and Wireless was the phone company.
Okay,
And
I thought you were about to say U.S. Cellular.
apparently they had been there like 100 years or something. Because they did your cable, because they did a whole bunch of stuff dealing with the internet and everything. So they sold phones, they hook you up to get you hooked up to the internet and all that kind of stuff.
It was Spectrum.
It was Spectrum. So Cable and Wireless. And so you can imagine what the prices were for, whatever you wanted to get. Then for phones anyway. So then Digicel comes, prices immediately slashed.
They set up a Burger King in McDonald's neighborhood.
They set up a Burger King in McDonald's neighborhood. Prices got cut dramatically, but was still high. I said, man, if Sprint or somebody was able to come over here and open up, boy, they would kill them, because all they did over there was use phone cards.
Mm.
So you had to go to the store and get you a $25, $50, or whatever phone card, just so you could be able to talk
Amongst the island with each other.
or wherever. You probably could call out of state.
But I'm saying you had to use a phone call just to make local calls.
Yeah, if you didn't have a home phone. I remember when I first got over. What did I take over there? I think I took I can't even remember what that box is now, but it was pretty popular back in the day, especially if you were making international calls. It was a voiceover box you would hook up to the internet.
Mm.
So I could hook that up and have a local phone number and talk over the internet just like I'm talking. So people call. I was still connected to people in the States. They call this number, they reach me, and I'm in Turks and Caicos, and this talk we talk. I had a 336 number and everything. So we talking just like I'm at the house. Yeah.
That's dope, man. Do you foresee? Well, first, do you still go to the studio to work, or you get to do everything still remotely?
Remotely. Mm-hmm. We've been home since March of last year.
Are there any signs or plans of y'all going back into the studio?
No. They're still trying to see what's up, and then you know how companies do. If something is working,
yeah, don't break it or don't fix everything.
Because it's saving them a lot of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
no remotes,
no remotes. I mean, you don't need to really have promotions. You cut down your staff. You don't have part timers and whatnot. What are you even for? I mean, everybody's working from home. So you have a few people that still go into the building to do some stuff, but not many. It might be about 4 or 5. It's a ghost town in there.
Mm.
And so we just do our stuff from the house, knock it out, and try to, make it. And people don't know. Some people just don't know. They can't tell the difference.
No, I mean, I wouldn't have known until you told me.
Yeah.
Because everything sounds great still.
Yeah.
There's no, you don't hear like an echo or a lag and anything.
Right.
So it still sounds real good and professional, man. So that gives you more time to mess around with them Star Wars turntables, huh?
Hey, look, I just recently got that Rain 1.
Yeah.
So I'm messing around with that nowadays, the little controller.
Okay.
So that's the first time with one of them, because I'm starting to want to pack a little bit light.
So instead of CDJs, you just went and got a controller.
Well, I had CDJs initially. That's how I started getting back into it. I got the CDJs because I let the turntables go.
Thank you. What was it, about 9 years ago you sold me them 1,200 techniques?
Yeah. And see, if I'd have known I was going to get back into them, I wouldn't have sold them. But I got lucky. So I got the Denons, and you could put the little CD in the front of it and all that kind of stuff. And one of them ended up messing up. Went back on the search for some turntables, and I got some turntables for the same price that I sold you mine for.
Really?
Yeah.
You talking what kind of turntable?
The technique.
Really?
Somebody has some 1200s that they were not using anymore.
For the same price you sold them to me for. That is crazy.
For the same price.
That is crazy.
He said, man, I'll give them to you for this right here. I was like, hey, that's what I sold the Romano for, so I'm back even.
The same face you made when you bought them from him is probably the same face I made when you told me how much I could get them for. Like, you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then I had them sent off to a dude in California to have them customized. So he blacked them out for me. He put a little like LED strip under the platter and all of that kind of stuff. Changed the LED lights, painted the tone arm black. And then after he did that, the funny thing is, Techniques came out with another turntable that was all black. And I was like, I just had mine customized. But I'm glad. I was cool because mine was still 1200s. This is something else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm messing with the controller now, just to pack a little light and still trying to get used to it.
Okay. Being a connoisseur of R&B and soul music, do you listen to or like any of the current R&B? Other than of course, the songs that you play and things like that on the station.
Well, I don't know. I'm not even gonna say I like that stuff. I still listen to music the same way that I used to listen to it before. Even though folks nowadays consume it a little bit differently. You just get one song and and that's it. But back in the day, I used to go to the store, get the CD or the record or something, and listen to the whole thing.
Right.
Because, and that was after learning that the songs that they're going to play on the radio are the songs that the record label want. Yeah,
that has nothing to do with who the artist is. That's just push this out for the masses, but it's the deep album cuts. Those are the ones that draw you to to me anyway.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that draw me to the artist. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then you're not gonna know if you don't listen to the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I remember a conversation I was having with a colleague. You know her, but this was during the time Jamie Foxx had just dropped his album and
not the first one.
Not the first one. Even though I like that, I got a couple of cuts on that one that I do like.
Okay.
But this was the one that had
Unpredictable, right?
Had Unpredictable on it, I believe. And there was a cut that she used to listen to all the time, had it on repeat. And I was telling her, I said, listen, let me tell you what the song is that's on this album right here. And I told her what it was. And she was like, nah, I don't know about that one. Then she went to see him in concert. And she said that song that I told her was the hot one on the album was the song that they rocked at the concert. That he went off on that one. I said, I tried to tell you. that's the one. And they never played it on the radio.
They're not going to.
Never played it on the radio. So I still like to listen to whole projects, and I like to see what the artists are really doing. I get into now that NPR Tiny Desk concerts.
Yeah.
I love them, and I hear some stuff on there, like some artists will introduce some stuff that we end up playing on the radio. I was like, see, I heard that song right there, 3, 4, 5 months ago.
Masego, Old Lady, I was shocked when I heard that on 97.1 because I've been listening to that for a minute.
You see?
I'm trying to think. I don't think y'all play Tidal by him.
We do.
Y'all do?
Yes.
Okay. That's another one that's been out for a minute. But either way, I'm still surprised that y'all play it.
Yeah.
Y'all went more contemporary with the R&B though. even y'all even play some hip hop on there, man. I heard a 50 Cent song on 97.1.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, well, what's happened is, remember, I know you heard the phrase before. Don't nothing change the. Don't nothing change the game doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the players.
Right.
Right. Okay. So if you have a station, let's say that a station is targeting a group 25 to 54 age group, right? But their main target is a 33, 34, 35-year-old single educated, or not even, let's say not even educated, a single black woman.
Right.
Right, that's the main target. You got the 25 to 54, but then we're targeting that 33-year-old single black woman, right? Well, people still gonna get older.
Right.
So now that 33-year-old is gonna end up being 54, so she on the other end. So now we still targeting that. So who's this 33-year-old black woman now?
The new 33-year-old.
The new 33-year-old woman. So we can't just keep playing Teddy Pendergrass because we the old school station. The old school to them might be that 50 Cent from the 90s.
Right.
In the club. You know, and we got a new 50 Cent one too that we're playing too.
Yeah, the one with the Mary Jane girls sample. Part of the game. That's the name of it. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's the one you're talking about. So, you know, things have changed. So yeah. So what does that 33-year-old woman want to party to today? That's appropriate. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna go all the way hip hop, but it's gonna be something that's in that thing that 33-year-old woman might want to hear.
Now that song was a stretch because due to the editing, you can only hear like the hook and maybe six words
right
on each verse. But I'm like, I get it because it sound, you know, the melody of it and the sample that they use.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original. You know, you're gonna hear the original on 97.1.
Right.
But yeah, I was just curious about it, man.
And then he did such a good job with Power too. So
yeah,
he's still relevant.
Oh yeah. And now he has the what's my joint on ABC? The guy was in prison, was his own lawyer.
Yeah, right.
I forget the name of it, but yeah.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I get all that. I definitely get it. Best concert experience as a professional in this.
Oh man, well, look, for me it had to be Gladys Knight. I saw in Durham Gladys Knight without the Pips, of course. Except her brother came out, Bubba, and the OJs.
This was last night?
No, this was some years ago now.
Oh.
But that's been my favorite, and I wasn't even working at that one. So we went down to Durham to the Durham Performing Arts Center, to DPAC.
Yeah.
And that was the concert. The OJs opened for Gladys Knight. And so I mean that's two of my favorite groups right there. So that's it. That's perfect for me.
You're good to go.
That's perfect for me. Now, as a non-professional, you know, I had to go back to the Fresh Fest. Them concerts that people don't, you know, Fresh Fest, we talking about, and I remember going to the Fresh Fest a couple of times at the Greensboro Coliseum as a teenager. We talking about when LL was coming out of the ceiling in a radio. And then the cassette thing opened up and he come out and start singing radio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where Run DMC was headlining.
Wow.
So I'm talking about I saw Run DMC, LL Cool J, the Fat Boys, the Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, Houdini.
All these cats were on the same bill at the Fresh Fest.
Yeah, or across two. I think I remember Public Enemy being on a different bill.
Okay.
Like on a different in a different Fresh Fest concert.
Gotcha.
But the first ones, yeah, it was Fat Boys, Run DMC, LL, Beastie Boys, UTFO.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you know, as a little young teenager seeing that, this is like, you know, this is the whole world. It came to us.
And that's That's more of an exciting time, I would think, because all that music is new. Like that whole style of music is fairly new when it came out. So you were part of some groundbreaking stuff to even go to that concert, man. That's dope.
Fresh Fest.
That is dope. God, I hope we get a what is it? Super Jam or Summer Jam? Super Jam here, right?
It was Super Jam. It was Super Jam.
Yeah.
Super Jam. Yeah. Who knows if that'll come back? With the part that I don't know if you ever experienced it. You probably was too young, but back in the day, boy, that Aggie Fest.
My first Aggie Fest was when Kanye West performed.
Was it still Aggie Fest or was it Spring Fest by then?
Nah, it was still Aggie Fest.
I don't know.
He performed at Corbett. Was it? Yeah, it was Corbett because it couldn't have been more. Because it wouldn't have been enough people.
That might not have been Aggie Fest right there.
That's what we were calling it.
Was it? Because let me tell you, Aggie Fest was.
Because mind you now, I went there, I started there in 03. So I caught the last end of the traditional stuff like the strip. The Scots was still, the original Scots was still up with the bricks and the whole bullet holes in them and stuff. So yeah, I caught the very end.
The very end.
Yeah, I missed the trailers that was the cafeteria. They actually built us a real cafeteria. So
yeah, they had when the Aggie Fest that I remember was. It was around the same time as Freaknik. So it was like a competitor.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely didn't experience none of that.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so all the area you talking about around Scott,
yeah,
it would be packed.
I'm talking about like homecoming.
Not like homecoming. I'm talking about on campus. So take all the grills that you're talking about where people got homecoming and they got little sign spaces.
Oh no, I ain't talking about the football stadium. I'm talking about how homecoming is, like how you really can't walk. Okay, yeah. Say around the plots, how it be thick like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was like that just around the whole campus.
That's what, not around the whole campus. That's what I'm saying. Take that spot over there where they be grilling at by the plots.
Okay.
Move that over to Scott Hall. The old Scott Hall.
Yeah.
And all them areas in between there. And
fill it in with people.
Because that wasn't nobody over by the plots. It was the strip.
Yeah.
It was and Scott Hall, it was the strip and Scott Hall and all that area over there.
Cooper over here across the street.
Cooper.
Yeah. Shout out to the troopers.
Because the concert was at the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they would have a kid and play, would be down there performing or whatever. So that's where it was. So you would go and make your turnaround. You go up and down the strip, and then that little street, and then turn around and go back the other way. And it was in the spring, right around the time when the Greeks had just crossed. Everywhere. So you see what I'm saying? Now they extra hype.
Yeah.
Just went over.
Yeah.
And one of the first things you do after you going over is you go to A&T for the Aggie Fest. They coming from everywhere. Coming to show your tail out here, man. And I'm saying, and back then, I mean, I know security is tight over there now, but back then doors was off the hinges, man. People would walk in and out of Scott.
Yeah.
Not having to go through the office like they supposed to.
Right. To
check in. We didn't forget that. That had been passed. the doors was broke. You go in through the side door. Anybody.
Oh man.
Anybody. And during Aggie Fest, it was like no rules. Because your cousins might come up and you might have 2 or 3 extra people staying in your room.
Yeah.
It was everywhere, dog. It was it was like being in a foreign country in your own dorm because you ain't know nobody.
Well, you gonna put it like that? Then no, sir. I have never experienced an Aggie Fest. Yes. They might have put that name on it, but from what you saying, no, I did not experience that.
Did not experience Aggie Fest. Now in the gym, I have seen some good concerts. In corporate, I saw Chuck Brown.
The Go-Go DC.
Legendary
DC Go-Go artist. Rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
Oh man.
And I saw Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Okay.
In Corbett. And they would perform up there on that little top spot. We all down.
Where the real is.
Yeah.
That's where Kanye West came out and performed. And I never forget it because he was talking junk to the light guy. And he was even then in 03, he was talking cash. Well, I think it was the spring, so it was 04. He was talking cash to the light guy. He said, "Yo, if you don't get these lights right, I swear I'll walk right now." Something to that effect. And I'm like, bro, we don't really know you like that. Where you going?
Right. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of fun, and the more gym parties was always off the chain.
Oh yeah, them gym jams. Yeah.
Always off the chain, man. So
there's always somebody passing out in there though.
Hey, I mean, gotta see how much you can drink.
Yeah, I was like, yo, you don't do this here. Don't do that here, man.
I was one of them people at one time. I was talking with my boys. We got on a call the other night, man. And they was bringing that up. He was like, "Yeah, man, I remember the first time I met you. It was like the year before we actually met. You was in Corbett, boy, and you was showing out." That I remember that time they had to walk me back to the dorm.
Speaking of one of your boys, man, shout out to Mr. Brian Turman. He led the academic team to the Honda Campus Challenge Championship Trophy. Yeah, I read it when I get the oil change. I went to East Market Auto World, got my oil change, and he was in the Carolina Peacemaker. There was a rival on him and the students, man. So one time for Mr. Turman, man, if you don't know him, some might call him the hip hop teacher because he taught the first ever hip hop class at A&T.
Right.
I ended up taking it because he was my English teacher also. So congratulations to him and the team, man.
We supposed to be getting together and playing some chess.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since I talked to him, but yeah, that's my boy now. We got stories. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm saying that's my boy like that. We got stories now. So
that's what's up, man. Well, look, again, man, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, man. You could have been doing a million other things, man. I want to really say thank you so much for stopping by. So what's next for you, man? What's on the horizon?
I'm about to get back into doing some photography. I had fell off for a little while. I was under strong for a minute, but then that's when I thought that cameras were supposed to last forever. Mm-hmm. So I found out that they didn't. So the camera that I got when I was in Turks and Caicos, I thought that this is it. You get a one camera and you doing, but no. Megapixels change and it just get better and better and better and better and better. And you can't just keep shooting forever because I learned that a shutter doesn't last forever. You see what I'm saying? So it's not if your shutter gonna go out. It's eventually gonna go out. So I had to upgrade. So now I'm ready to get back out there and do some things, man. And also on the DJ tip, man, I just want to get out to somebody cookout or something and spin some tunes and get back to having some fun because this pandemic is shutting everything down. So I'm ready to get back out there. That's what's next for me.
Absolutely.
Just to get back out there and have some fun.
So if they do want to book you for either photography or a DJ gig, what's your social information?
Oh my goodness, man! That's where we fall into a problem. But you can find me on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, Sheldon Beatty, Beatty. Yeah, and my photography page on Instagram is bare right now until I get it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't want to. I got the page going, but I don't want to put up old pictures.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Because if I put up those pictures from way back then, from like the 2006, 2007, 2008,
right?
You know, folks might be like, who wore that? You know what I'm saying? It might not be the best representation.
I get it.
So I got to get out and get some stuff popping. I got a graduation shoot coming up next Sunday, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
So that'll be the start. But I can be found.
All right. Once he gets his other information, well, no, he just told you that. He don't follow him on Facebook. You heard it, man.
On Facebook, and you can always get in touch with me through the radio station.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 11.
Man, right now it's Sunday to Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, 7 to 12.
Okay, dope. The Quiet Storm.
Yeah, and they switch it up during the different months. So, like for example, I still come on at 7, and the Quiet Storm doesn't start until 8, and then probably in another month, the Quiet Storm will probably start at 9, just because of daylight savings.
Right. Makes more sense to me.
It does make more sense.
Yeah.
Now, to be completely honest, I would rather this is not the old school schedule. This is even though it's been going on for a few years, it's the new schedule. I would rather go back to the old school Quiet Storm 10 to 2.
Right.
Because that's when you turn on the Quiet Storm, you meant to turn on the Quiet Storm.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, you try to get some action.
Now you could be riding in your car and the Quiet Storm come on at 7.
And it's still sunshine.
And it's still, you're like, I'm not ready to hear sleepy music. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they kind of keep it up tempo until 8 o'clock now. But 10 to 2, there was no mistaking.
Yeah, for sure.
You go to somebody's house, they put on the Quiet Storm. Yeah.
Clever takeoff. We clever takeoff, man.
You actually put this on.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
You was thinking what I was thinking. All right.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that's what to do, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in. And thank you again to our special guest, Mr. Sheldon Beatty, Mr. Quiet Storm 97.1. This is your man, 58 South. Till next time.